A lot of people do ask us why we don't do more about custom bikes on the bike show, and because they are really the flavour of the month at the moment.
Well, they've been the flavour of the month for a while. I mean, like the past decade, since OCC and all of that, everyone does choppers.
OK, so seeing as they've been the flavour of the month for the last decade, we thought we'd do a feature on custom bikes, and where better to start than here at V Customs up in Centurion. As glossy and glamorous as the showroom may look, the real joy at V Customs is to be found in the workshop, with any number of wonderful creations being worked on alongside simple servicing and maintenance jobs. But we're here to ride to ready-made customs.
Of course, if we're going to talk about custom bikes, we have to assume that there's going to be a cruiser involved. The true Harley enthusiast might recognize this bike as a 1941 Harley Davidson WLA, an iconic motorcycle in the Harley Davidson portfolio. Although if you were to look at this bike's licensing papers, you'll see that it is actually a 2006 Fat Boy that the boys at V Custom Cycles have worked miracles with. Now, I don't know if any of you remember, but in the 1940s, the human race was a little bit useless. I mean, they hadn't quite figured out how electricity works yet. If they wanted the internal combustion engine to make horsepower, well, they couldn't. And when it did, it first of all rattled the bones to pieces. That's if it didn't explode before that. You could stop the bikes, but not using the brakes. And if you wanted to go around a corner, well, you know, you were killed. That's why this is so brilliant. It's got the grace, it's got the elegance of 1941, but without any of the drawbacks like death. Of course, this makeover requires more than a simple paint job. The entire front end is completely different. Those elegant mudguards are from the original WLA. It has the original stick shift lever, the original Kickstarter, and the tank has been modified to look like the original twin tank without the unnecessary hassles. The tank mounted dash is original also, just with the modern instruments mounted inside it. The handlebars and all the buttons have been fabricated to look like the originals, and of course the Fat Boy motor has been restyled to look original, including these original flattened tailpipes. What I love most about this machine, about riding a bike like this, is, you know, the sort of, it sounds cliche, but the passion and soul that went into it. I mean, yeah, okay, the factories are doing their own sort of custom stuff now, but I mean, it's still, it's a man in a laboratory with a computer. He works it all out on a CAD drawing, using expensive machinery and degrees and master's degrees and all that. And yeah, you know, they make some good stuff, and I'm sure they put a lot of effort into it, but this bike was built by a man in a workshop using tools, machinery, and his own judgment. I mean, I'm pretty sure a guy with that talent can probably make money somewhere else. The car industry, certainly, he can make more money, but he's doing this. He loves doing this. This is what he wants to do. And this is the result of all that passion, soul, energy, all of that went into this. And that is what really makes it special.
Custom bikes don't have to follow the cruiser form, however. Because it's custom, you can go in any direction you like, and one of the most popular at the moment is the Cafe Racer. Anybody who thinks that the idea of a Cafe Racer Harley isn't really the right thing, obviously has never watched On Any Sunday. Because if you had, you'd have seen the Grand National motorcycle racers taking an XR or a KR 750 Harley and not only doing dirt flat track, but bolting a set of brakes and a fairing on it and doing some road racing as well. So a Harley as a Cafe Racer isn't so outlandish an idea as you'd like to imagine. The other thing about custom bikes is that when you take a bike and repurpose it into something else, often it just doesn't work. It can just feel completely wrong. But I've got to say that Pat at V Customs knows his business, because this bike, even though it was never designed as a cafe racer, feels fantastically all of one piece. It feels solid, it feels well put together, the suspension has been dialed in correctly for the weight of the bike now, the riding position isn't so extreme, it's really actually rather comfortable.
This bike started life as a 1200 Sportster of 1998 vintage, but you wouldn't know it by riding it. It feels like a bespoke cafe racer, one that has been built very well. It ticks the most important box in that it's fun to ride and goes like stink with all that V-twin torque. It's not absolutely perfect. The front brake is abysmal, but that is something that can be rectified very easily. In fact, the back brake is better than the front, which reminds you that this is, underneath it all, still a Harley Davidson.
If anything, this Harley V-twin engine is actually the perfect engine for a little cafe racer. Bags of torque, sounds brilliant, nice bit of vibration, and with that belt drive it's smoothed everything out so nicely, and obviously low maintenance.
I've got to say, I'm actually really impressed with this. I've ridden a lot of these kind of home-built kind of custom bikes and they've felt dreadful. But this feels brilliant, and that looks like $1 million.
Oh, yes. I've got to say, I used to have a 1998 Sportster 1200. I did. And it looked a lot different.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I'm trying to put the original kind of where that is now, and no, I can't see it actually.
I know. And that is just, I mean, I also used to have a 1942 Harley.
Yes.
And it didn't look a lot different to that.
Yeah, but this is 1941, so it's a bit better.
Oh, so it's obviously a completely different year.
That's it.
But no, it's beautifully done, and apparently this is all original mudguards on the front and back.
Original mudguards. It's the original, except for the actual clock part. It's the original sort of dash display here, and it's not quite the original gear change though, because this one, well, on this bike, kind of doesn't work.
That's a shame, because I would love to see you coming to grips with a foot clutch and a hand shift.
Yeah, but okay, it's got the normal, but it looks good. I mean, I'm pleased it's there.
It does look good.
It's like
and I love the detail of the little indicator switches just over there that he's put on.
And I love about this is all the wires and everything go inside the handlebars, so it's nice and neat, and it's got cruise control.
Has it?
It has. What you do is you turn this little thing here to where you want it, then let go, and there we go.
And it'll stay
there. When
you
want to switch it off, you just turn it back again.
That's brilliant. But now, I've seen you fumbling around under the seat quite a lot.
I mean, it's a starting procedure.
But you've got a kickstart. You've got a Kickstarter, so
let me show you how it works.
All right.
Okay. What you need to do, you put this helmet down.
Is that what you have to do first?
Yeah, you have to put your helmet down.
Okay.
You turn the ignition on.
Yeah.
This little thing there. You get the kickstart out. Yeah. Then you stretch. Stretching is important. Stretch. You get your foot all the way up here somewhere, round about there somewhere.
Yeah.
And then you reach behind the seat over here. You push a button.
Well, at least it works.
Yeah.
It's a lot more reliable.
This is a 2006 Fat Boy. This is a 1982 Fat Boy.
That was a... Oh, God. Seriously. That used to be a 2006 Fat Boy.
It did.
It doesn't look like it anymore.
Before they changed everything. Look, the thing is, it rides like a Fat Boy. Okay, the front end feels a bit weird, but you're not really pushing lap times, you know what I mean? But this is a 2006 Fat Boy that looks like a 1941 Super Special...
WLA it was called.
Yes,
I've got to say that, okay, everyone's into building BMWs and Triumph cafe races and all. The Harley is the traditional custom bike.
You know what I like? Two things I like. Your fuel gauge is epic.
Fuel gauge
That's
is
the best fuel gauge
isn't it?
I've ever seen in my whole life. The other thing, now cafe racers, Well, people got this confused. They always think they're naked because that's how the bikes work. But they're often naked. They don't have a fairing because the riders would crash them, destroy the fairing, and go without it. Am I right?
There you are, you see.
And something else that always gets destroyed is the instruments, the clocks.
And I am remarkably free of any instrumentation.
You have no instrument. This is legit. It's a legit cafe race.
It really is. This could go on the track.
It could, right now.
So I'd say, in conclusion, that nuts to all your BMW and the modern sort of incarnations of cafe races, blah, blah, blah. Harley, that's where it's at.